Hi, good afternoon to all. Myself, Samarpana Swero. I am from Ibrahimpatnam College. Today my subject is past events. Past events is nothing but history. History. Today I am going to teach with the topic of Indian contributions to the world in different fields. I think we can't count the stars. Yes or no? Yes. We are not able to count the stars. As the same, we also can't able to count which are Indian contributed to the world. So today my topic is Indian contributions to the world in different fields. So let's we go with first slide. India is my country, but the world is my home. We can call the India is cradle of human civilization, the birthplace of history and numerous languages, and grandmother of legends and the traditionals. The list of Indian innovations, discoveries and the details innovations and the scientific discoveries which are included mineralogy, meteorology, astronomy, mathematics, logic and etc. which are contributed by India to the world. And let's we enter into the topic. Let's we go with first literature. Literature we can see on the slide Kama Sutra. So it is written by Vatsayana has to used for maintaining of life and the understanding the one person's love. So it is nothing but heart of love and nature of love. So it was Indian Sanskrit language which was greatest innovation by Vatsayana and contributed to the world. And next let's we go with universities. You can observe on the slides. There are both universities which are Nalanda and Taxila universities which Indian contributed to the world. These both universities are oldest universities in the India. So let's we go with first Nalanda University. Was the first university in the world which was built by Kumaragupta. So it is a university which was consisted with 16 subjects and Buddhist sects. And it was many of the other countries were come to the India and learn the different subjects. So like the foreign countries like Turkey, Burma and Nepal where the countries came to India and learn lessons. So next let's we go with Taxila University. It is also one of the famous university in the world. It was established in the year of 2700 years ago. And it consisted with 68 subjects like arts, elephant lore which are included like military schools, medical schools and others. So these both universities were established during the period of ancient years and the many foreign countries came to India and studied it and they were attracted for both the universities. And next let's we go with religious. You can see on the slides Buddhism and Jainism. I think you well known with two religions which are introduced in our India. Buddhism, it was found in the year of 16th century CE by Gautam Buddha. It means it is we can also call him as a Siddhartha Gautama. So introduced is the main principles of him is non-violence and the truth. So he absolutely dissected the Upanishads of which are introduced in our India which was followed by the caste system in India. So this was influenced by the foreign countries like Turkey, Japan, Nepal and these countries were influenced by the both Buddhisms and they followed as a god. And next let's we go with Jainism. You can see on the second slide. So it is a founder of Vardhamana Mahavira. So it was not developed much in our India and the foreign countries but which are introduced by the Mahavira. The principles, it was influenced by the foreign countries like the main principles of him, the way of life and the respect of life and the goal with Nirva. So these are the religions which was famous in our India, not only in our India but also in the foreign countries. So let's we go with another slide which are important and introduced in our India, that is sports. And let's we go with chess. Chess is also originated in the ancient India and it was known as Chaturanga. So it was played by 4 members. It will consist of 4 members in the game. So now we can say Vishwanath. So he is a good player in the chess. So before it in the ancient time it was used for the people to play and develop their skills in the sports. And let's we go with another game, that Kabaddi. It is also introduced in the 4000 years ago to build the soldiers about the self-confidence and the self-defense, and to attack the other members by a group and the individuals. These are the sports which are introduced in our India. Not only the chess and the Kabaddi, and also the which are like martial arts and snake and ladders, and other games were introduced in India, and further it was developed in further countries and became an international sports game in all. And let's we go with another it is important in our India, that is science and technology. When the world is confusion with zero and how solar system was introduced, how it was developed, why it was utilizing at present, how the 9 planets are came. So this is question raised from all minds. So now it is a solution they are given to the world, not only for India, but the world they given a solution about the solar system and the pi and the zero. So you can observe on the first slide Aryabhatta. So he is a great mathematician and a good astronomer in our India. So he is a person who introduced pi, and he wrote Aryabhatta theory book. In his book, he wrote about mathematical system. It was based on the decimal place value system, which are unknown to the ancient people to the earth, 99.8% accuracy and calculation to the slider year. And he also great astronomer which was introduced the earth around its axis. And it is also introduced Surya Prajna. He done his recorded on the Surya Prajna. It found that year consisted with 365 to 395 days. And it is also he calculated that pi and lunar and the solar eclipse. So pi consisted with 3.1416 and also consisted the solar year like 365.365 and 6805. So it is introduced by the Aryabhatta. He was given a good solution to the world, that was introduced by the pi and the solar eclipse. So he is a great person in the world who was introduced the solar eclipse and the decimal place value system. And let's we go with Brahmagupta. He also a great person in the world, and he is a good astronomer in the world. So he given a conclusion about how we use a zero and how can we use in our daily life. So he is a person who invented the Brahmagupta. And he also wrote Brahma Siddhanta. So in his book he explained about the zero and he was found that numerical system in his book. And these are the both persons who introduced about science and technology during the period of Guptas. So this is the importance of science and technology which was introduced in our India and contributed to the world. Let's we go with next slide, that Industrial Revolution in the 18th and 19th century. This is most important in our India, which was brought changes, and not only in our India, it is also brought changes in the world. Now, it was attracted to the world and foreign countries. Many of the foreign countries came to India and they started ruling, and they started attracting India's agriculture, in the cottage machines and the industries. So let's we go with first industries. In 1733, dramatically increased the speed of weaving, and which are included to increase the demand of the year. And they also introduced about industries to export which are cultivating in our India. And let's we go with agriculture. It is an agriculture economy which was constituted of India. So India, when the agriculture sector is introduced, many of other foreign countries were started exporting about cotton, rice, spices, and just countries like Britain, England, which came from the foreign countries and started ruling. So in agriculture sectors, India was the first and the most important which was cultivated in the spice. So these are the important in the Industrial Revolution. So let's we go with cottage industries. In the world, India is the first country to produce the cotton and started woolen to export the other countries. So these are the important changes are brought in India during the period of 18th and 19th century. So not only the changes, it is also influenced by other countries, and it was became a greater India. Many of the Britishers came to India and they started infrastructuring and introduced a market, started East India's companies and other. So they also started exporting from India to Britain. So this is period of industrial revolution in the 18th and 19th centuries. So let's we go with another slide, which are polity. So till now India had many changes, and another way there was changes according to the polity. You can observe during the period of Gupta. He was a great person and the court poet of Chandragupta Maurya. He is none other than Kautilya. He wrote Arthashastra book. He was experienced, and his book like war, state, political and mathematics and other, which was written in his book Arthashastra, and he was began and started his works on Arthashastra, about which are he expressed on the state and the statecrafts and polity. So he is a person who influenced by whole country of about the polity, and he became as a Machiavelli. So he had considered that Kautilya is a Machiavelli. So Machiavelli is a person who is the head of the Kautilya, but he influenced by the Kautilya, and both of the in our India and the world had started and influenced by the polity of which are introduced by the Kautilya. And next, let's we go with M.N. Roy. You can observe on the second slide. So he is a person who introduced a communist party, and then during the period of 1947, India was big deal about communism and Hinduism and another things. So he is a person who introduced communism, and he given the new meaning for the communism. So and he changed that communism to radical Hinduism. He is a person who had his concepts is that human freedom. It was showing in all fields of in our world. So his great aim is to bring that human freedom for everyone in the country. So by this his aim and his thoughts, he has become a founder of Communist Party. And by his thoughts and the ideas and the political ways which were influenced by the foreign countries, and he became as the greatest person in the world, and he stayed in the history as a greatest person by his thoughts and the human concepts and his ideas. So let's we go with another slide. Mahatma Gandhi. You well know with Mahatma Gandhi. He is the father of our country, and he built India as a in good way. That is none other than he is a person, father of our nation, and he built that is Communist Indian Community Party, and he is the leader of Indian Community Party, and he stand in the hearts of all people. So he is none other than Mahatma Gandhi. He is a leader of Indian community, and he became a world peaceful dissident in the world. He had done many works without non-violence and civil disobedience, which he was called a Satyagraha. So he is a person who was introduced with good freedom in our India without any non-violence and civil disobedience and another way. So he considered as a father of our nation, and he influenced whole country in the world. So he is a person who attracted other countries and he made a relationship with the other countries. So he is a person, Mahatma Gandhi started making relations with other countries. And let's we see the great person and the first Prime Minister of our India is Jawaharlal Nehru. You can observe on the second slide. Nehru was the first Indian nationalist leader and statesman in India. So he is a person who started making relations with other country. When the time of World War II, there was countries was disturbed about the wars, and they are struggling about their countries. Then he started and introduced the norm. It is nothing but non-aligned movement in the year of 1961. It was introduced to cooperate, to encourage and to make relation. He introduced political and economic and social relationship with other countries. So he is a person who introduced a norm, and he became a first Prime Minister of India and started making relations with other countries and brought India as a great country in the world. Next, let's we go with space. Till now we had seen polity, science and technology and the medicine, and which are introduced in our India was influenced by the other countries. So as the same in the space, you can observe in the space and you well known with your Chandrayaan 1. It was introduced on July 22nd, 2008. It is the first attempt which was done by our India and stood a greatest India, and it is which was started on July 22nd, 2008 near Sriharikota in Andhra Pradesh. So this is first Mangalyaan which is consisted with 590 kgs of satellites were started in the Histroy, was founded by Vikram Sarabhai, and they sent to the by using the Mangalyaan to the moon. So by not send it was sent to the moon, but it was created as something new. That means it changed the world. It found the water on the moon. You can observe on the first slide which are consisted water on the moon. So this is most important, and it was given a good name and greatest in our world. And by after this Chandrayaan 1, many of other countries were started competing with India. And there's like we can take example of Russia. It is competing to India to develop and to send and in another sectors and to found something on the moon. So it was started by Chandrayaan 1 in the place of Andhra Pradesh. So as the same which is successed by Chandrayaan 1, by using the same theme by aim, they introduced in our India and sent the second Chandrayaan. So it was introduced on 22nd November 2019. So it was greatest and second attempt by our India. It was went to the land, but it is successfully landed. They used as a Vikram. Vikram is none other than which is a satellite used by our Indians, and they sent to the moon. It was landed smoothly, but it was shaken some and get some problem. It was not success which was introduced by India, but it had done great attempt by using the two ways, that is Earth rover and Pragyan. So by these two they were sent to moon. And next slide we can observe about Narendra Modi. This is a present situation, and he is a person have Prime Minister in India. So he is a most famous leader in the world. He is a person who started making the relations, and when the Nehru period, he started making the relations with other countries. By the same way, he was continued the relationship with other countries which are introduced by him, and which are the schemes and the policies were introduced. He made a relationship and he became a member of in that persons like NAM and WHO, which are introduced by the world UNOs, and he stayed a member of India, and which are you can take in the previous days that Trump came to our India by the great deal of three key points. It was on the health issues and the food issues and the financial and economic status. So he spoke on which are the incidents was going on the India, just like COG and Delhi elections and the women's harassments, Disha case. He spoke on all the topics which was facing by India, and he also deal with Pakistan and India which was facing the problem. So this is introduced and they make a relationship with USA, Germany, China and Israel and etc. So he is a person, a new era in our national history was founded. And he is a great person who appointed as a 2 times in our Prime Minister. So he is a person who made a more relations, and he invited other countries to make relations and made a friendly relations. So he is a great person, had with a aim that to bring developing country to developed country. So we can see another slide that which are India was contributed in the science and technology and the religious and the universities. As the same we can see that in the art and architecture, medical system and the scientific, these are introduced in our India. I think you all know that Taj Mahal. It was greatest architecture which was built by Shah Jahan. It for the memory of Mumtaz Begum. So it is shown the love of wife and it became the wonder of in 7. So it is a great architecture which was built by Shah Jahan. And we can see that Ellora. Ellora is also great art and architecture in our India, which are influenced by the other countries and started the same way of which India has used for another countries. So we can see that diamond. It is not a small stone. It is just like a Kohinoor diamond and it is most famous in the world. So many of the countries were exchanged and fought for this Kohinoor diamond and it started transporting from one country to another country, India to China, China to and another countries. So it was had in the British which was kept by Crown, but it is mostly introduced and famous for only in India. So by this it was had greatest in our India. So we can see that Vikram Sarabhai and J.C.P. Bose. So these are the persons who are in the scientific way. So which are the persons? So which are the persons introduced Histroy and found many things, just like we can see that J.C.P. Bose, he done experiment and he is a person who saw and made an experiment on plant and human. He found that when he did experiment, plant and human had similar faces. And we can see Vikram Sarabhai. He is the founder of ISRO. ISRO is nothing but Indian Space Research Organization. During his period, we sent Chandrayaan-1 and by using the same, we sent a Chandrayaan-2. And in the future, India was going to send a Chandrayaan-3. So this is the greatest in our India which was introduced and influenced by other countries. And we can see the recent issue that going in the world. You can well known with coronavirus. It is a virus which was affecting all world. And even we can see on yesterday's news on 26th February, there was 2,715 people who died. There was many people affecting and dying. They was leaving their lives for the simple reason. So to abolish this and to bring a changes about the coronavirus, India had sent a aircraft to the other countries. It was facilitated like medical facilities to who are suffering with a coronavirus, and it was affecting the people. So to be a relief and to bring a changes and to abolish this coronavirus, India had changing many changes. So for this, India had introduced and sent a aircraft to the China, and by this using aircrafts, China and the Japan successfully by using these medicines, they was sent to India back again. The people were safe and they are enjoying their lives in their everyday life. And we can see that yesterday what Supreme Court was introduced and given a amendment that is on the women's who are affecting and who was dying in the hands of others and who are showing the discrimination between men and women. For that, to remove the discrimination, the Supreme Court was introduced that the women should equal with a men. So that means everywhere in the army, in the workplaces, in the industry, or the colleges, or lecturers, or employee education, there should be equal rights along with men and women. So it is was Supreme Court introduced and done amendment on the women. So this was introduced by all this India. So you all observe which I was said. So this was Indian contributions to the world. Not only in the medical and science and technology, it was not contributed to the world. It was contributed in all around the fields, and it was contributed to the world, and it developed the India. So it's time yours. That is, the India was in the stage of developing country. So youth are the main important for the to change developing country to developed country. So it's time yours now. So make the change and utilize that what are the rights you have and fight for it and get it and do whatever you want which is correct and fight for everything which was discrimination was going in our India. So stop the corruption and all other things which are happening against the government and the constitution. The youth have main thing to change their mindset and change the world and bring developing countries to developed country. So this is my topic, today's my topic. So at last I convey my heartful thanks to Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar sir and my principal Lakshmi Narayana sir and my mentor Varalakshmi ma'am, and last who has supported me to this, that is with Divya Jyoti madam and Manasa Manohar madam, all my madams and my dear friends. Thank you for giving me this an opportunity. Thank you. Jai Hind.